Chapter 51, A Marionette 1. Chapter 51, A Marionette 1. Elliot's POV. I was chasing my visions, trying to change my future, only to be blinded in the present. Elliot Starfall. Darkness. A void stripped of all light, a hollow where I drift, bodiless. I float in it, or maybe I fly. It's hard to tell, my body doesn't move. It's still, my thoughts, not so much. Silence. Is this death? How cruel, to die and not be reunited with Ren. With my blood, my family. My eyes are open, but I see nothing. No light, no shape, no motion. Just endless darkness. Is this hell? It somehow reminds me of the moment when I saw the world end back then, when everything was still alright. I try to sigh, but no breath comes. My lips don't even part. I can't move them. There's no air here, just pressure. Vacuum. Hell, it must be. Why else wouldn't I be with Ren? Why would I be here, in this place that devours time and sense and meaning? My eyes stare into the eternal black pressing in on me from all sides. I feel it, its weight, its stillness. I regret it. I don't want to die. Not yet, I'm afraid. I try to cry, but I can't. No tears, no heat behind my eyes. My body won't respond, even emotion seems hollow. Empty, I am empty. Words slip from me, and thoughts spiral without end. I can't stop them, I can't shut anything off. Hell, this must be what it truly is. Did I die from blood loss? Did that creature rip my head from my shoulders? I don't know. And in the end, it doesn't matter. I can't move, I can't hear, I can't feel or taste, or smell. I exist, but only barely. And I am afraid. I keep staring into the black, waiting, hoping for something, anything, to come. But nothing does. Time passes, or it doesn't, maybe it's only seconds, maybe years, it makes no difference here. Now I fear eternity. Something that is gone, truly gone, can only be felt in the shadow of what it once was. And this void teaches that lesson well. I float. I float through what feels like forever. No direction, no gravity, no change. I don't want to be here. I want to kill those beasts. The other bloods. The ones whose veins are poisoned by corruption, whose tongues are blue, the greens, with their twisted limbs and vile grins. And yet, they live. While I am here, I could retch from the memory of them, what they've done. What they'll do, what they did to my kind, to our women, our children, our cities, our honor. They'll slaughter the men, chain them, break them into workers, sell the women like meat. But even as I seethe, I know I'm lying to myself. I did not fight for the people who followed me. Not really. That was just a side effect, a product of my vengeance. The truth is, I did it for him. Ren. I stare into the blackness for what must be weeks, and somehow, it begins to reflect me. A mirror. Not of fire, not of rage, but of emptiness. No storm, no burning, just cold, hollow stillness. I feel nothing. But I want to. The inability to scream, to shout, to speak, it drives me mad. How long has it been? Months, years. I try to recall Ren's face, but even that is fading. I can't see his eyes anymore, not the exact shade of blue, not the way he smiled. Who had longer hair, him or me? I don't know. And that is the cruelest part. Not the pain, not the dark, the forgetting. But worse still, is the absence of grief. I don't even feel sad, just that same, endless emptiness. After a storm, they say, comes calm. But this calm is like a weight. It presses down, smothers. I've spent what feels like years thinking of those who surrounded me, wondering if they meant something to me. But now I've forgotten most of their names. My eyes close. Or were they already closed? Was I asleep, or have I never woken up? What is real, what isn't? I don't know. Visions flicker inside my mind. Images, fast. Are they memories, dreams, or something else entirely? Then, suddenly, light. Real light, a sharp, burning flash like lightning striking my skull. But not white. Red. It glows, bright and brutal, and I flinch. My eyes slam shut. But the red seeps through, covers me, surrounds me. Scarlet. I lie still, my body refuses to move. I stare into the scarlet haze. Mist, dense and thick, chokes the edges of my vision. I can't tell if it's near or far. It just is. Then pain. A small flare inside my head. It spreads. My eyes flicker, my fingers twitch, my breath stutters into life. I accept it. I don't fight it. I let the pain wash over me. It rises, fast, explodes in my skull, then fades. My hands go still again. And now, the red deepens, the black fades. Visions bloom. I see too much, too fast. Pictures, emotions, moments. They rush at me like waves. A young soul, shattered, crying before two heads, his world collapsing just as mine did with Ren. A noble man, blonde, swinging lifeless from a rope. A trembling hand in another's grasp, then left cold and alone. A pool of blood so wide it drowns an island. An amber-haired woman running to somebody dear, to the hanged man. I feel them, their pain, their terror, their numbness. The boy, anger boiling in his chest, before hopelessness suffocates it. The hanged man, crushed by guilt. The trembling man, paralyzed by grief. The woman, frozen in disbelief. Then more. Chapter 52, A Marionette 2. Chapter 52, A Marionette 2. A young man in a strange uniform kneeling before royalty, a prince, a princess. His tears fall in silence. They're noble, like the others, but their world feels different. Not this one. Then, violet hair against violet sand. A girl stands atop a beast, a titan, towering. She laughs, eyes full of wonder. She sees the world in its beauty. Then, a shift. Darkness again. A chamber. A girl lost inside it, alone. Her body shifts, suddenly, violently, transforming into that of a grown woman. The change startles me, not just for how fast it happens but for how it feels. At first, I sense only emptiness in her, a familiar hollowness that reflects too much of myself. But as her gaze lifts, drawn toward kaleidoscopic colors spinning beyond her, something inside her fractures and then floods. Emotion. Sadness, anger, but above all, happiness. It bursts inside her like sunlight cracking through centuries of stone, warm and all-consuming. It makes me jealous, briefly. Then the vision yanks me away. A black-haired woman with strings of whiteness, terrible and tall, marches at the front of an army. She is no woman, not really. A demon with raven-like wings, leading legions against angels. She battles the skies, and loses. A spear of pure light strikes her and she falls, crashing to earth like vengeance made flesh. The world tilts. And then the moon appears. But not the moon I know. This one is red, too red, as if it bleeds, as if it watches. Its gaze pierces straight through me, and the vision shifts again. I see the world. And golden people, ethereal, divine. One kneels, another prays. Golden Reaper, whispers a voice, curling through my mind like smoke. Familiar, yet changed. I can't place it. More images now, overwhelming and too fast to hold. People, faces, suffering. Battles erupt. Blood stains the earth. Spilled, drunk, screamed for. Cities burn. The sky splits apart. The moon looms, swollen and pulsing. The world dies. And then, darkness. Not emptiness, not void, but something alive, something that moves and breathes and thinks. Red mist drapes over everything. My limbs move, but not by my will. A sword extends from my hand, yet I don't grip it. I am merely the vessel now. A jolt, a pang, my body spasms. Ahead of me, a boy stands. Black hair falls into his eyes, eyes that hold grief so raw it splits my soul. He looks at me, and in his gaze, I see someone familiar. However, it's distorted, and I can't make out who it is. Then my head turns, as if pulled by strings. The world tilts again, upside down and off axis. I don't control this body anymore. Golden Reaper. Time slows. Memories, like shards of broken glass, race through my vision. Then a voice, young and steady, full of solemn resolve. In this life, you shall die for the greater good, and not for your selfish vengeance. Someone, whom I can't identify, raises a blade, the one that I held in my hand some heartbeats ago. And brings it down. I don't see the strike, only the blur of motion. Then a heavy thud. My head hits the ground. Wet, cold, final. Blood pools around me. I am swallowed. I'm sorry, bye. The voice breaks, cracking into something monstrous. Pain racks me. My eyes roll outward. My mind begins to collapse. And then, I breathe. A miracle, a foreign act. I inhale like it's my first breath after drowning. The red world dissolves around me. The mist fades, thinning and fading until blue light spills in to take its place. It radiates from a crystal, positioned on a long, ancient table to my right. The wood looks older than time. The light deepens, overtakes the crimson haze. My pupils shrink, my body trembles. And for the first time in what feels like eternity, I feel. Tears well and spill over as wind stirs from the crystal's light, brushing my face, lifting strands of my hair back. I lift my hand to shield my eyes, grimacing. And suddenly I'm somewhere else. Not the void, not the sewer. I sit at a grand table, one carved from marble and inlaid with gold. A porcelain plate rests before me, artfully filled with delicacies. The meat, sky blue in the center, bleeds with a color too close to that of the blues. The cutlery gleams. The room is excessive. Gold trim, violet banners, orange and blue walls adorned with paintings that seem older than nations. But my focus narrows, because my hands are wrong. They aren't mine. Paler, more delicate. The nails shimmer faintly blue. So do the knuckles. Something's wrong. I try to move, but I'm locked inside. Like a soul trapped in someone else's shell. The body I inhabit, whoever it is, lifts its gaze from the meal. Across the table, 5 people stare back. All dressed in rich blue robes. All wear the same sigil, 3 roses blooming over their hearts. Their lips are blue, their faces cold, unreadable, sculpted from disdain. Stoic. And inside the body I am trapped in, rage builds. A man at the head of the table, blonde silver-haired and tall, speaks without warmth. Aston. The name ripples through the host body like venom. Then eyes fall to the wine glass, purple and glassy, and in it, a reflection. Young, blonde. A face I've seen before. The hanged man from only moments ago. Yes, father. The voice, this body responds, controlled and clipped. The mouth moves, the tongue tastes, the throat swallows. But it isn't me. It's he, this body, who does all these things. Chapter 53. Read through Blue 1. Chapter 53. Read through Blue 1. Elliot's Pav. Who am I, if not myself? Elliot Starfall. My gaze moves, tight, controlled, like I'm bound by invisible strings. A marionette, I follow the stoic expressions of the figures beside me. They wear the colors of their kind, blues. Noble, untouchable. I feel the stirrings of anger, but I know it doesn't come from my heart, not mine. Not me, it's something foreign, not a flame that burns from within, but one fed from the outside, stoked by invisible hands. It isn't my hatred, it's this body's. There's a tension here that doesn't belong to me, a barely restrained frustration humming just beneath the surface. Recognition, or the lack of it. Nervousness, too, laced with caution as the man at the head of the table stares at me. No, at Aston. The name makes sense now. The hanged man from my vision. The body I've been trapped inside. The man, my supposed father, sits tall under the golden light of ornate chandeliers, his sand-colored beard gleaming like crushed coins. Calmly, mechanically, he slices into his meat, blue and raw, and lifts a piece to his mouth. The juice runs down his lips, staining them the color of his blood. How has your recent transfer of the reds in your possession been? He asks. The words roll out with such casual cruelty I nearly forget to breathe. Great, I hear my voice say, no, his voice. Cold, smooth, unshaken, profits of 200 golden Ellis notes. A bit less than the average day last week, but still more than yesterday and the day before. The breath that follows is slow, measured. The profit should double by next week. The man nods in approval. My tongue moves, my lungs fill and release air, but none of this feels like mine. I don't feel emotion from inside, only as if I sit deep within a hollow core, and the world presses emotions onto me from beyond. A filtered experience, detached and sterile. I hear chewing, the clink of utensils, a sip of wine, someone sighs. There's no one else at this table besides these blues, no reds, no greens, no others. Just them, a family, perhaps, one that I'm a part of but don't belong to. My hatred for them creeps in again, subtle and gnawing, but it isn't because of their color. No, shockingly, or perhaps not, I hate them because of the emotions forced on me. Not because I choose to. Why am I here? Why can't I feel my own thoughts fully? Why is everything seen, heard, tasted, even felt, as if through cloth or glass? It's not a prison made of bars. It's worse, latex around a soul, a second skin wrapped around mine. Yet still, this body moves. Even as my mind shouts for agency, it obeys something else entirely. I should panic, should fight, but I don't. I just sit here, as this body clenches its jaw and swallows back a thorny frustration, like rose thorns caught in the throat. Sebastian, says the father, lifting his glass and sipping the deep violet wine. Yes, father. The reply is sharp, immediate. The man who answers, Sebastian, resembles the father in uncanny ways. Same beard, same sea-bright eyes, same angular jaw. He looks older, or maybe just colder. His suit is royal blue, the same shade as the blood that runs in his veins. Under the table, I feel Ashton's fist tighten. Rage, masked by etiquette. They want us to send more of the oranges, the father continues. Silvestro says the invasion is going well. But the Reds, they've found out about the blood. He exhales, glancing toward the tall, arched window that frames the skyline. Then he reaches for the hand of the woman beside him, half his age, maybe less. Her skin is white touched with ice blue, and her expression is carved from delicate frost. His words now shift from report to command. Those pigs have discovered our power, and we must admit, they have a far greater capacity for growth than we do. A silence falls, tension seeps in like fog. The others glance at each other, subtle but sharp. Sebastian speaks first. What shall I do? The father doesn't answer immediately. He watches the city through the glass as if it will reveal something. The silence thickens. I feel the body's legs tremble. Mine, no, his, Ashton's. The father touches his ring with his thumb, polished gold glinting faintly in the light. You're on good terms with the royal family, especially the second daughter, he says, voice low. Pass this on, quietly. If they know the truth, our business could fall apart. We can't afford that. Sebastian nods stiffly. I see the disgust on his face when he glances at the young woman beside their father, his stepmother, maybe. Yet her smile doesn't falter. She drapes her hand over his, soft and pale and fake. Dear, she says sweetly, don't be so hard on yourself. As if those cockroaches could ever threaten us, the higher bloods. Again, silence reigns, and this time it bites. This hall could fit 20 houses from the slums, and yet it feels too full of tension to breathe. Chapter 54, Red Through Blue 2. Chapter 54, Red Through Blue 2. When the meal ends, Aston waits until the others leave before rising. The moment stretches, then finally, I'm outside, on the streets. I walk, or rather, he walks, and I go along for the ride. Before I move too far, I reflect. These people, this place, it's so far removed from where I was first captured. The filth, the stench, the screaming, gone. Replaced with manicured streets, smooth stone, and gold-embellished buildings that glisten beneath towering lights. Blues walk past me. No, not past me. Past him. They don't recognize the difference. And maybe even I'm forgetting it too. Who am I? This body walks like theirs. Stiff posture, frozen expressions. No wrinkle of joy, no crease of pain, a sea of blank masks. But I watch, my eyes, his eyes, scan their faces. Some are handsome, some aren't. There are big noses, large bodies, crooked features, exceptions to their elegance. But overall, they're too perfect, too sterile, and far more refined than the blues I've seen on the sewerage, or the ones I've killed. In my peripheral vision, I catch the occasional smile. But they're never for each other. No, those small, rare smirks curve only when their eyes fall on reds. On humans, on my people. Slaves, broken toys. Children, too young to understand what's being taken from them, shackled and paraded like animals. And blue children, smiling at them, laughing, delighting in cruelty. That's when it hits me. Hatred. True and vile. But again, is it mine? Or his? Is this Ashton's contempt, bleeding into me? Or is it mine? I don't know, I just know it burns now. Ding. I'm too focused on the periphery, on the strange blurs at the end of my sight, that I forget what lies directly ahead. When this body takes 3 steps forward, I finally notice them. People, dozens, all kinds. Every pair of lips I see is blue, polished like sapphire stone. Except for two red. My kind. Their color stands out like a wound. I freeze, or rather, Aston does, just long enough to let me realize we've stepped into what looks like a bar. A dull chime marks our entry. Then the scent hits me. Sweat, liquor, drunken breath, a sticky, raw humidity that clings to the skin like second flesh. He walks deeper in, big, long strides, the kind only a nobleman would have the nerve to take in a place like this. Heads turn, shoulders stiffen, eyes narrow, everyone here looks rugged, rough, and stained by life. And yet we shine like a polished coin dropped into the mud. Aston, a noble, that much I know. He looked at himself earlier, during the carriage ride, inspecting his reflection in the mirror embedded in the cabin's velvet wall. Blonde hair, sleek, eyes blue like mine, and handsome, sharper features than I ever had, even before being dragged into this godforsaken hell. I hate to admit it, but he looks better, stronger, cleaner, whole. Still, I haven't grown used to this body. I feel too connected to it. The lines blur. Sometimes I forget who's walking, who's breathing, who's speaking. One Avalorian Scotch, we say, voice cool and clear, with a straw. Extra liquor. The barkeep is a woman with skin like ice, lips tinted blue, eyes in a near violet hue that seem to pierce through skin. Her dark blonde hair falls over her shoulders in perfect waves. She squints sideways, lips twitching. Follow me, she says. The room, already tense, becomes still. Every pair of eyes locks on us. Glasses are raised again, more out of habit than comfort. I can feel them watching, judging, measuring. Then one of them whistles, a shrill, taunting note that breaks the silence like a blade on glass. My jaw tightens, teeth grind together. But this body, Aston, doesn't break pace. We follow her into the back. My head begins to throb. A migraine blooms like rot behind my eyes. Not sharp, but there. Persistent. I can feel the tension ripple beneath the skin, clawing its way inward as we step into the next room. No sunlight here, only candles. The woman drifts across the dark wood floor with elegance, her silhouette moving like shadow over flame. She pours a drink, lips still, as I scan the space. Then a voice cuts through the silence like a whisper crawling up my spine. You're finally here. It's familiar, uncomfortably so, like something I should remember but can't place. The presence is thick, the air hums. My gaze follows the voice to its source, a man sitting by the dim light, half hidden in flickering gold. He's burning paper between his fingers, watching the flames curl with a wry smile stretched across a scarred face. I don't recognize him, but Aston does. And somehow, I feel like I do too. Beside him, 3 men lounge in silence. 2 women as well, 8 of us, in total. 6 men, 2 women, all of them watching, silent, still. Their eyes glow unnaturally, 2 in green, 2 in orange, and only one pair mirrors mine, Arthur's. The man who spoke. Aston knows them, his pulse spikes. My heart feels like it stops. Chapter 55, Red Through Blue 3. Chapter 55, Red Through Blue 3. Why does this feel familiar? Not to me, to this body. These are his people, blues, not mine, never mine. Mine are red. Red is the blood that flows through my veins. Long time no see, Arthur. The words slip from my mouth automatically, yet the expression I wear doesn't change. Not a twitch. The fire crackles, eating away the last scraps of paper between Arthur's fingers. He leans forward, eyes reflecting flame. There's an unsettling calm to him, too still, too knowing. Everyone, he says, standing now. This is Aston, he'll be part of the missions from now on. Consider him a hidden agent, spy, call it whatever you like. He stares at me. But most importantly, Arthur gestures toward the scarred man, who still holds the last blackened ember in his fingers. He'll be our financer, our donor, or, as Grimm likes to call him, a pause, eyes piercing into mine, our money pig. A pressure builds behind my eyes. A pulse of pain, the headache sharpens, driving deeper. No. The body stumbles, I feel it, hands trembling, vision wavering. Something wraps around me, hands, not real ones, but something else. Something cold, clawed, and spectral. They press into me, through skin, into muscle, into bone. They aren't touching Aston, they're touching me. Invisible hands tear through the body's flesh, not leaving marks, but dragging. Begging, grabbing. Whispers flood my ears, breath quickens, my chest burns. Sweat beads at my temples. My hands start to shake. The world turns red, then dim, then black. The flame dies. In a flash, all I see are those eyes. Orange, green, glowing in the dark. They pierce me like knives dipped in oil. I'm gasping. He reaches for his chest, falling forward, stumbling blindly. But I'm slipping. I'm no longer inside the body. I'm being pulled away. Heartbeat after heartbeat, I drift farther. The bar vanishes. The people, the fire, the eyes, gone. It's not that they fade, it's that I do. I'm the one leaving. My senses fail. One by one, sight dims, sound dulls, touch melts into nothingness. I feel nothing. I smell nothing. I am nothing. And for a moment, I want to be afraid. But I can't. I'm motionless, thoughtless, shapeless, floating in a void that knows no end. A silence where even the concept of screaming has no meaning. No shape, no sound, no edge. Just me. Alone. Forever. Golden Reaper. That voice again, crooked, familiar, hated. It comes from nowhere, everywhere. A whisper, a scream, a chant, a curse. It doesn't stop. Golden Reaper, Golden Reaper. Over and over, relentless. A plea, a condemnation, a memory. It pierces through the void like rusted wire pulled through my skull. This voice, it's the root of everything, isn't it? The fault of everything, of this place, of this fate. Why? Why was I in Ashton's body, the hanged man? Why was I cast into the void? Why am I still here? No answer. It could be seconds, it could be weeks, it could be years. Time doesn't work here. It's a black hole, a prison. Am I in one? No, maybe. The thought doesn't help. Sometimes, when I'm not thinking about the void, I try to remember my parents. Their faces blur, slippery shadows, gone. But Ren is vivid, not clear, but present, like a single drop of tear lost in a storm. His face is distorted by the same waters that now fill me. A pool I've cried into so long that I no longer remember when I started. I feel nothing. I feel lost. Is this loneliness? Maybe. Or maybe not. Everything feels like a dream, or the echo of one. What's the point of my life? Of all of this? Sometimes, I just stare, blankly, into the dark, and it stares back at me. I don't wish for rescue. No, that would be foolish. I wish for destruction, for crushing. I want to die. But do I really? Wouldn't that betray Ren's sacrifice? What sacrifice again? For me, he shouldn't have. I wasn't worth it. And now I can't even cry. Not properly, not one tear. I just know things, feel things, without truly feeling them. As if all emotion is a memory I'm trying to recreate with numb hands. Golden Reaper, I was in hell. I died only to see the truth. The voice again, crooked, scraping, a monologue that drills into the silence. It's the only thing that gives me something. I don't know what that something is, but it's something. The truth of you betraying, committing genocide out of vengeance. The blood you shared equals the one you devoured. I stare into nothing, hollow. My dear, the voice splinters, glitching through the black, sorry. And then I feel it, a spark. My eyelids flicker, sweat pours down my cheeks. My fingers twitch, clawing at something sticky, wet, filthy. My body aches, and then, my eyes snap open. A darkness, a real one. I gasp, disoriented. Terror rises, hatred too. Tears burst from my reddened eyes, uncontrollable. And for the first time in what feels like eternity, I see light. And I break. Chapter 56. Red Through Blue 4. Chapter 56. Red Through Blue 4. A scream tears from my chest like my soul's being ripped out. The smell, rank, sour, human, chokes me. Eos, a shrill voice. Sharp, caring, distant. But it makes my insides twist. Saliva floods my throat, I gag. Then vomit. Into dark, shit-streaked sewer water. I'm on fire. My skin, my veins. Boiling, my throat tears open with every scream. My face is half in blood. I must look like a corpse. Pale, lifeless. I stare ahead, unblinking. The red world stares back. A man shouts again, "Are you alright?" But I don't respond. I can't. My mouth won't work. My head won't move. My knees are buried in blood, green blood. And I break again. I don't move for what feels like an age. The tears don't stop. The dam has cracked, and not because I wanted it to, but because it had to. My body remembers how to cry even if my mind forgot. I sit in it, half an hour maybe, still, trembling. They call me twice. Eos. Again, Eos. Then silence. They stop calling me by the name I gave myself. I remember them now. Jean, Chom. They don't know my real name. Elliot. The same time flows over us, but I am not them. They wait for me to rise, but I don't. I can't. I just breathe and cry. Only when the final tear drops into the sewage, into the blood of the green, does my heart begin to stir. Only then do I see it. My right arm is gone. A sharp pang, disbelief, horror. Gone. Just gone. Beside me, a creature, massive. Its limbs are thicker than mine, and half its torso is missing. Its insides spill out, entrails and organs and maggots feasting like workers in a tavern after long labor. I am broken. The tears are done. The water has taken everything from me, drenched me, drowned me, destroyed me. I move at last, slow and heavy. I look at them, Jean and Chom, two boys who still believe in something. I once called myself their god. Now I'm just this. My gaze drops to the monster's blood, still warm, still fresh. Then to Chom. His expression unsettles me. He doesn't look shocked or disgusted, he looks melancholy. Like he's seen too much for his age. A boy like him should be in school, chasing grades, laughing, like Ren once did. Ren. That means the void was only seconds here, minutes. A hollow sigh leaves me. My eyes are dead oceans now. The water is gone, only the red remains. Maybe that's rage, maybe that's life. I turn. My body shifts. I feel my right arm reach forward, only to remember it's not there. Phantom pain stabs at me. Sharp, lasting. My jaw clenches. My left hand rises to my ear, half of it's gone too. Lucky it wasn't my entire head. Jean smiles, still trying to pretend things can be normal, but Chom doesn't. He just watches, sorrow heavy in his gaze. I lean forward, drooling slightly as blood steams off my soaked body. I need blood. Only one thought guides me now. I move toward the corpse. No resistance, no strings pulling me back. Only light, only the red. My hand touches the surface of the pooled blood. The heat, the power, it calls me. My lips lower. I drink. Sweetness hits my tongue like honey laced in copper. A metallic aftertaste, but I gulp greedily. A maggot slips in. I feel it crawl down my throat. I don't care. I need it, now. For the future. Everything fades, the void, the darkness, the pain. I don't think, I feed, and with each swallow, I feel it, the rush. The surge in my veins. The boiling, the fury. This is what it feels like to be alive. This is the power, the curse, the cycle. I have nothing to lose, and everything left to take. I keep drinking. The blood bubbles on my tongue. My body soaks in the strength. I bite down. Flesh tears. I don't stop. Then a voice, real, sharp. Eos. My eyes fly open. My head snaps back from the awful. Blood stains my chin. My heart pounds. My mind collapses. I vomit, hard. It splatters against Jean's trousers. He flinches back, too slow. The next wave comes fast. My stomach contracts again, wringing itself dry. Then I see him. Chom. Still watching, still silent. A single tear runs down his cheek. He doesn't wipe it. A memory, maybe, family, friends. I don't know enough about them. I vomit again, then gasp. My sight blurs. When I blink, Chom's tear is gone. Chapter 57. A Life for a Life 1. Chapter 57. A Life for a Life 1. Damien's Pav. Given by father, taught by mother. Still I don't know how a name truly defines oneself. Damien Stark. Next stretcher. The young woman screams it for the 6th, maybe the 7th, time in just a few minutes. Her apron is soaked with blood, stiff in places, slick in others. My legs shake, my hands tremble. The mask over my mouth feels like a cage, trapping the stale heat of my breath until sweat pools at my jawline. Every pore on my body is open, my skin crawls with phantom itches. But I force myself to focus. I must. What do we have? Theo, the head surgeon, asks in that flat, practiced tone of his. Nothing surprises him anymore. He's twice my age, late 40s, all hard lines and sunken eyes. Male, late 20s, the nurse barks, voice tight with urgency. Shrapnel wounds to the abdomen and right thigh. Pulse weak, he's fading fast. I squint through my fogging glasses at the blood-slick scalpel in my hand. I change gloves automatically, pulling on new disposable ones, the old pair stained dark with other people's death. My fingers don't obey. My shoulders twitch like marionette strings tangled by a drunken puppeteer. My head pounds, each heartbeat a shrill echo in my skull. Tinnitus screams in my ears. Dr. Stark. I try to force my right glove on but it slips. I can't concentrate, not after all that. My gaze drifts, dazed. Woman, man, dead. Their eyes are open, glassy, accusing. Empty of light, empty of hope. I lift my hand toward Theo out of pure instinct, but he slaps it away. No scalpel. I flinch. Still, I keep staring at the blood on the floor, at their unseeing eyes. My chest heaves, ribs constricting like a vice around my frantic heart. Men, women, even children. I grab onto a nurse rushing past, just to stay upright. Stark. Another shout, then a pleading voice cuts through the chaos. It's the man on the stretcher, his pulse a flickering candle. I squint at him again. The world swims, vision blurred by condensation on my lenses. 1.25 diopters of farsightedness, useless here. Just fog, and behind that fog, their lonely stares. Yesterday, I played with that kid lying out there in the grass. Gave him sweets, joked with him and the others. Now he's got a hole in his abdomen. His blood soaking the earth. Monsters. I'm not supposed to be here. Not in this fucking tent. I was just a student, not even halfway through med school. No real practical training, and now I'm supposed to keep soldiers alive as they're torn apart like insects by things out of a nightmare. Not fairy tales, horror stories. It is a nightmare. We're holding the base, but only just. Barges light up the sky, and even though the line holds, civilians are being hunted like animals. My eyes flick again to that dead kid in the grass. He died minutes ago, one of many, one of millions in Germany, one in billions around the world. My hand slips free of the nurse's arm as she runs on. My attention catches on a female soldier sprawled nearby. Blood drenches her uniform. Nurses are cramming gauze into the gaping holes in her flesh, fingers slick and red. She screams, high and broken. They said there was a conflict. Word spread just after the kid died, after they dragged so many of them into these tents. Faceless beings, that's what they call them. A couple of them made it through. Full artillery can barely scratch them. What chance does a rifle have? Sweat salts my face. Those damn soldiers, the ones we're treating, some of them are doping themselves with the blood of those things. Monsters, zombies, Slendermen, orcs. Some of the medics make jokes, but there's no laughter behind their teeth. The government orders them to do it. Inject it, become it. I push the thought away as I stagger outside. Stark. Another shout. My name, the name given by my father and taught by my mother. I hope they're okay. I moved cities to save money. From Hamburg to Mannheim, cheaper than Heidelberg. My parents wanted me to live near the university. I told them I didn't mind the half-hour commute. And now I miss them. I truly do. Chapter 58. A Life for a Life 2. Chapter 58. A Life for a Life 2. My blonde hair sticks to my sweaty forehead as I ignore the calls behind me. Not my name anymore, the name of another doctor. Schmidt. Not Stark. My fingers clench around the metal tent frame. For a moment, I feel its cold solidity anchoring me. Then I let go, and my boots land in a pool of blood that splashes up my trousers. I vomit. Bread and watery soup from this morning splash onto the churned mud. My body convulses. When I wipe my mouth, I see the kid. He's closer now, sitting against the grass in an unnatural slump, eyes open to nothing. Other bodies are scattered beside him. Men, women, all tangled together, as though death couldn't be bothered to keep them apart. But they aren't too many compared to the other piles of death. My stomach settles for a moment, only to heave again. I retch until nothing remains but sour spit and emptiness. My shoes are slick with filth, caked in blood and bile. I blink too often, trying to clear my vision. My head tilts back as I rip off my glasses and tear away the mask. I thought I could endure this. I volunteered. I convinced myself I'd be useful, that I'd of any help. It's been, 2 weeks? Nearly 3 since the day everything fell apart, the day we all decided to call the start of the apocalypse. A name so blunt it feels absurd, but no one bothers to argue. I rub my eyes, pressing my fingertips into my lids until sparks dance behind them. They burn, dry as paper, while the low sun ignites every strand of my sand-blonde hair. Dirty, greasy, I haven't washed in days. I drag my sleeve over my glasses, wiping the grime away in slow, mechanical strokes. Then I tilt my chin and squint at the sky, teeth bared in something like a snarl, but it's no smile. The sun glares down, blue instead of yellow, bright and pitiless. It looks cold. It burns hotter than anything I remember. Artificial, like everything else overhead. Silhouettes of birds drift across the bright vault. At first glance they look serene, even beautiful, as if the world had never ended. But even those shapes are wrong. Their wingspans are monstrous, bigger than any bird should be. Airplanes, more than animals. The world has changed. My breath catches, hitching in my chest. My skin crawls with phantom itches. I scan the sky and spot the rifts, massive black holes torn in the firmament. From here they look small, just cracks, but I know those voids are kilometers wide. I still can't truly accept it. None of us can. It's too big, too wrong. But in the end, I don't have a choice. My ears ring, the tinnitus slowly fading, leaving only the distant roar of chaos. I let out a slow, shuddering breath. Then the alarm sounds. Not the shouted warning of a medic or a soldier. Not the panic of another breach in the line. The alarm. Nationwide. It blares from megaphones bolted to poles, rattling tents, vibrating through my ribs like the end of the world itself. And that's exactly what it is. I've heard this sound only once before. A test, years ago, back in school. We'd laughed about it then. Made jokes about World War III. Pretended it was nothing. It wasn't nothing. Back then was the past. Now is the present. And the present is an apocalypse. Out there is death, not a clean, hot flash from a nuclear bomb. No tidy shadow burned into a wall. No wind to scatter our atoms like ashes. This is hell. Those orange giants that rip us apart like insects. Nothing in our arsenal can stop them. Not rifles, not tanks, not even artillery. Only nuclear bombs, if we're willing to burn ourselves to stop them. I see the fear on every face around me, mine included. Heidelberg never even sounded the alarm the first day those things fell on us. No warning, they just came, either striding from the forest like nightmares, or dropping straight from those holes in the sky. I've heard about the falling stones, massive plates of rock that crashed down out of nowhere. Crushed houses, destroyed streets, even churned the Baltic Sea into a frothing mess. Floods, big and small, sweeping away entire neighborhoods. Internationally, it must be worse. Phones don't work, radios are silent, television is static, all we know is rumor, carried by the people who managed to flee. Chapter 59, A Life for a Life 3. Chapter 59, A Life for a Life 3. The megaphone screeched so loudly my teeth ache. Then, suddenly, silence. It's worse than the sound. Then comes the screaming. Soldiers surge past me in a tide of panic and determination. Camouflage uniforms drenched in blood, red and blue alike. Their rifles are the size of their torsos, some still steaming. I see the badge on their chests, black, red, and gold. My country, Germany. But some of them bear other stains. Drips of green blood. The high-blooded. Those who have injected the monsters' blood. Their veins burn with alien strength. Devil hunters, some call them. Monsters fighting monsters. Names shift with every district, every slang. They run in disciplined lines, past me, past the corpses littering the grass. I stand frozen. My legs refuse to move. Someone slams into me, an assistant from my team, and I topple to the ground. He doesn't even look back, just keeps running with the herd. They leave the wounded behind. They leave the screaming behind. I turn, still on my knees, and see the chaos. Nurses and doctors sprint from tent to tent, abandoning patients mid-suture. Civilians wail. Blood spatters canvas walls. I spot an old man, bandages wrapped tight around his bald head. He tries to crawl to safety, dragging himself from one tent to the next, but the crowd tramples him without even noticing. And I follow him. Not by choice. They trample me too. Boots strike my ribs, dig into my spine, grind my palms into the muck. I am nothing but another obstacle, a wall to be kicked down. Stark. My name. Given by father, taught by mother. My family's name, supposed to mean strong. I turn my head and meet the old man's eyes. They're wide with terror. I see myself in them. I am not strong, I am weak. I am the shame that belongs to the dust of this world. The stampede moves on. Finally, I can breathe. My face lies in the mud, bruised, wet, blood mixing with the dirt. My glasses are shattered, shards lost somewhere in the muck or ground into dust under someone's boot. I push myself up with both hands, muscles screaming as I stagger to my feet, but another surge of bodies crashes into me. I'd thought there weren't so many of us. We were supposed to be isolated here, stationed on this outcrop above the castle, a fallback away from the main population in the old town across the lake and bridge. But they just keep coming. More desperate, terrified people pour in, shoulder to shoulder, knee-deep in chaos. I try to focus. I'm trained to focus. I'm a doctor, would be a doctor, but none of that matters now. My eyes find him. The old man is sprawled face first in the mud. His cheeks are swollen, smeared with streaks of blood running from his gray hair and dripping onto the old stones beneath us. He tries to move. I watch him tremble as he lifts a veiny, skeletal hand, fingers quivering with pleading hope. He believes, God help him, that I will save him. That I'll grab him, pull him to safety, carry him down into the bunkers. It's insane. Those bunkers weren't even here before 2040. The world nearly burned then. Only because of that brush with annihilation did they bother building these. Without them, our country would be ashes. The world would be ashes. It's already ruined anyway, just a dying star pretending to shine. Our eyes lock. His gray eyes are clouded but begging. Wrinkles fold deeper as he tries to speak. He can't. Tears cut paths through the mud on his face. He is begging me. My legs move. One step toward him. I hear his hope in the way he sobs. Oranges. Someone screams it, raw, primal, torn from their lungs. Then the mass surges. It takes less than 2 seconds. I could have grabbed him, could have lifted him. But they trample him instead. His cries vanish under the stampede of boots, ragged breaths, and panicked screams that stretch into the distance. And I run. Chapter 60. A Life for a Life 4. Chapter 60. A Life for a Life 4. Now I can run, now that he's gone. I want to hate myself for this. I want to be the man who stood there and pulled him free, who risked everything in a noble sacrifice. But I'm not. I'm just a student, a doctor, an unarmed man with no training for this. I want to live. If I'd moved a moment sooner, if I'd just reacted instead of freezing, maybe I could have taken him with me. But I was afraid. I am afraid. The fear of dying crawls over my skin, nestles under my ribs, whispers that survival is the only virtue worth having. I run. And I hate myself for it. But I keep running. Others run with me, just as selfish, just as desperate. A herd of survivors pretending not to see the ones falling underfoot. I feel something give under my boot, a wet crack, an arm, maybe. I don't look down. I just keep going. But his face haunts me. It's my father's face. I'm running from that, too. And even while my legs pound and my lungs burn, I remember other things. Home, family, my mother, humming over a pot in our kitchen, asking if I want another portion of her lumpy but heartfelt stew. My sister hitting me on the arm, grinning with mischief. My father scolding me for missing a grade one should have aced. I want that back. I want to sit at that old table and eat an uncaring dinner with them. I want to live. Gunshots crack. I don't even realize how far I've come until the world hardens beneath my feet. Concrete replaces mud. The bunker entrance yawns ahead, angled walls sinking deep into the ground, the blue light of the dying sun dimming under the roof. The air cools instantly. I can see vividly for a second, though my glasses are gone, lost somewhere behind me. I turn back. And the light disappears. I blink. Something bizarre crosses my mind, a memory of spaghetti ice cream shaped like pasta, the cold strawberry sauce. I'm a fool. I thought I could be a hero just a few weeks ago. I signed on for medical triage, thinking I'd save lives here at this fallback site. For a while, I did. A few injuries, some deaths, but manageable. We all pretended it was safe. Now I stand at the bunker threshold thinking about ice cream. My eyes catch movement overhead. The sky splits open again. Another chunk of the heavens breaks free, this one bigger than the last, jagged and dark like a mountain crumbling in slow motion. It accelerates as it falls, cutting off the last of the sun, plunging us into shadow. I see it just before it hits. An orange. Orc, some call them. Over 2 meters tall, broad as 2 men, muscles bulging under scarred hide. He's roaring. The stone comes down right on his head. And on the heads of others. Our people, limbs rip free as the slab strikes, blood and mud spraying. The soldiers beside me open fire wildly. Another soldier grabs me by the coat and hurls me deeper into the bunker. The impact above sends a pressure wave roaring through the entrance. I'm thrown onto my back, skidding over concrete, ears ringing so hard I'm sure they're bleeding. I don't hear the gunshots anymore. I don't hear anything. Just the thunder of my own heart as the shockwave sucks the air out of my lungs. Dust chokes me, my eyes water until tears stream into my mouth, turning the grit to mud on my tongue. I lie there, staring at the bunker ceiling. I don't move. I should move. I should get up and help someone. But I can't. I see his face again. The old man in the mud. He could have been my father. He probably is someone's father. Because that's what he was, even without a hospital bed, even without a chart. A wry smile twists my lips. It's not amusement. It's self-disgust, raw and poisonous. I can't hear anything but the blood in my head. Seconds pass. Dozens of them. Finally, someone moves. A young woman steps in front of the bunker light, casting her shadow over me like the sun did in better times. She's breathing heavily but evenly. She stares down at me, checking if I'm alive, eyes scanning mine with the cold precision of someone who's seen too many corpses today. She says nothing. She just turns and walks away. I cough, spitting out dust. My forehead drips sweat, my ears throb with phantom sound, like the ocean in a seashell. It hurts. But I'm alive. That thought, the only one that makes sense, the only one that cuts through the chaos, settles in my mind. I live.